screen PPT is not on. Ladies and gentlemen, leaders, visionaries, change makers, welcome. Today, we are not going to talk about leadership theories. We are not going to fill your notebooks with frameworks. We are going to do something far more important. We are going to study the anatomy of a leader who, when he opens his mouth, the room changes. You have met such a person, perhaps once, perhaps twice in a lifetime. The moment he spoke, you leaned. Something in you recognized, something in him. Today, we take that thing apart. We name every piece and we ask, can this be learned? The answer, I want you to hold this for the entire hour, is yes. Before we go in, let me show you the map. 7 dimensions, 7 doorways into the leader's inner world. 7 things that, when combined, produce a person who speaks and is followed. Uniqueness, power, charisma, authenticity, ethics, and integrity, legacy, and finally, the lasting impression. We have 1 hour. Let's not waste a breath of it. What you'll want, the first question, what makes him unique? No better, not more qualified, not more educated. Unique. This is a particular kind of loneliness that comes before distinctiveness. Every leader who eventually stands apart has first sat alone, questioning what they truly believe, stripping away the borrowed opinions, the inherited framework, the voices of everyone who said, this is how it is done. The unique leader has done that work, the lonely work, the honest work. When we look at the leader who genuinely stands apart, we find 5 qualities consistently present. First, he has found his own voice. I don't mean his speaking voice. I mean on the voice of his thinking. He doesn't echo others. He has arrived at a perspective on business, on people, on the future that is unmistakably his. And when he speaks from it, you hear the difference immediately. Second, he thinks in original patterns. Most people, when they encounter a problem, look for a solution that has worked before. The unique leader looks for the architecture beneath that problem and redesigns that. He draws maps others haven't imagined yet. Third, he is consistent across contexts. This is rare. Most of us has a boardroom self, a dinner table self, and a stage self. The unique leader is the same person everywhere. That consistency creates a quality of trust that is almost gravitational. Fourth, he has paid the price of distinction. Uniqueness is not a gift. It is a discipline. He has spent time in solitude. He has studied. He has failed and stayed in the room with the failure long enough to understand it. He has paid that price, and that payment that shows in everything he says. And fifth, he does not compete. He creates. He is not running someone else's race. He is not looking left and right. He is building something no one has built before. And when you follow him, you feel like you are a part of the discovery. Warren Bennis, one of the greatest scholars of leadership who ever lived, said something that shattered a myth. He said, leaders are made, not born. Every quality of you hearing about today it is learnable, it is practicable, it is yours to build. The quality is simply, are you willing to do this work? I want you to take minutes, no talking, just thinking. Three questions on the screen. The first, what three things do you do as a leader that most in your position do not? Write them now. Second question, what experience in your life has no equivalent in your peer group? This is your signature. This is the place your uniqueness is rooted. And third, in three words, just three, how would people describe your leadership? Voice, if they couldn't use your name of your title. Hold those words. We'll return to them at the end of the day. The sources of power. Module 2, power. Power is one of the most misunderstood words in the leadership vocabulary. Most people, when they think of a powerful leader, picture someone who commands, who controls, who cannot be questioned. The leader we are studying today has a completely different relationship with power. His power does not require your submission. It requires only your attention. And then it earns your trust. Clarity is his first power. When he walks into the room, he knows what he wants to achieve. He knows why it matters. He knows what it costs. That clarity, that absolute integral alignment cuts through noise like a blade. Other people's confusion resolves in the presence of his clarity. He commands space without filling it. Watch a powerful leader in the room before they speak. They don't fidget. They don't scan for approval. They are simply present. Their silence has weight. Their stillness signals authority. The room adjusts to them before a word has been said. His power comes from purpose, not position. This is the crucial test. Remove that title. Remove that corner office. Remove the budget. Is he still compelling? If yes, this is the real power. Purpose-based power cannot be taken away. Positional power disappears with the role. He empowers others to be powerful, counterintuitive, but absolutely true. The most powerful leader do not hold authority. They distribute it. People feel more comfortable, more creative, more courageous in his presence. That expansion is his power working. And finally, he has disciplined his inner world. Self mastery is the origin of other mastery, his emotional regulation, his mental clarity, his ability to remain steady when others are rattled. This inner discipline is the source of authority others feel when he speaks. Abraham Lincoln did not study leadership. He lived it at the highest possible cost. And what he said about power still reverberates. Nearly all man can stand adversity. But if you want to test a man's character, give him power. How are you using yours? The gift of charisma. Charisma, the word that makes people either lean in with excitement or roll their eyes. Let me dissolve the myth immediately. Charisma is not a personality type. It is not reserved for the extroverted, the dramatic, the theatrical. Charisma at its roots means the quality of making meaning feel urgent and personal. Charisma at its roots means the quality of making meaning feel urgent and personal. That is learnable. That is practical. That is available to every single person in the room. There are 5 dimensions, 5, and they compound, each one multiplying the effect of others. Slide 11. Presence, being fully here. Charisma, being with where you are, not physically, attentionally. When the charismatic leader speaks to you, you are the only one person in the world. No checking the phone, no scanning the room, pure, undivided contact. That is rare. And because it is rare, it is magnetic. Warmth, making you feel seen. Warmth is not about being soft or being easy. It is the radiated belief communicated in how he looks at you, how he asks questions, how he remembers detail, that you matter, that your presence is valued. When someone makes you feel that, you will follow them anywhere. Conviction, believing what he says. You cannot fake conviction. The body broadcasts it, the voice reveals it. When a leader speaks with every cell of his being aligned behind his words, you feel it in your chest before your brain has processed the sentence. Charisma collapses without conviction. Story, speaking in images, not data. The human brain does not remember statistics. It remembers the story about the statistics. The charismatic leader knows this. He wraps every truth in a narrative. He gives you images, and those images stay with you for years after the data has dissolved. Energy calibration, lifting the room. The great charismatic leader are exquisite readers of the room. They sense when the energy is low, when it is anxious, when it is resistant, and they adjust, not by performing, but by shifting their own state first, and trusting that the room will follow. It always does. Guy Kawasaki said something that inverted the conventional understanding of charisma entirely. He said, charisma is not about making people feel good about you. It is about making people feel good about themselves. Can you please turn the slide to page 12? That is the test. After every interaction, do the people you have spoken with feel more capable, more valued, and more inspired? If yes, you are charismatic. Do the people you have spoken will feel more capable, more valued, more inspired? Give me a second. That is the test. After every interaction, do the people you have spoken with feel more capable, more valued, more inspired? If yes, you are charismatic. Regardless of your personality type, you are speaking styles or your volume. Three practices. And I want you to do actually these, not just consider them. The 60-second presence practice before your next speech or high stakes meeting. Stand still for 60 seconds. Do not look at your phone. Do not rehearse. Stand still, breathe, and feel your feet on the ground. Enter only when you are fully present. The warmth audit. Think of your last 3 significant interactions. In how many of them did you make the other person feel genuinely seen? If the answer is uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the beginning of the change. And the conviction check. What is one belief about leadership, about your industry, about your people that you would defend in public, even if it made some people uncomfortable? Practice stating it out loud with everything you have. Module 4, authenticity. The word is everywhere. Our leadership blogs, in HR workshops, in mission statements, and yet genuinely authentic leadership is one of the rarest things on the earth because authenticity costs something. It costs the comfort of the persona. It costs the protection of the performance. It asks you to show up as who you are, as who you actually are, not who you think a leader should look like. Here is how authentic leaders sound, how it feels, how it lands. He does not perform, he reveals. When you watch an authentic leader speak, you are not watching a presentation. You are watching a person thinking, feeling, and believing. There is no gap between the person and his words. They are the same things. He owns his failures without a shame. One of the most powerful moments in a leader's communication is when he says, I was wrong. I failed. I didn't know. And I learned. That honesty, when it is offered cleanly, without drama, without performance of vulnerability, creates a level of trust that no highlighted reel could ever. His private conversation matches his public one. There is no behind the scenes versions of him that contradict the stage versions. What he says to the team in the corridor is what he says in the boardroom. One voice everywhere, all the time. He listens as a practice of authenticity. Authentic leaders do not project, they receive. They ask real questions and sit with the answers. They don't prepare their next point while they are still speaking. That quality of listening communicates, I am genuinely interested in you. That is authenticity in action. He leads from values, not trends. Every year there is a new word, new model, a new fashionable framework. The authentic leader watches these things with interest and is not moved by them. He returns every time to the same core values. They are the architecture of every decision he makes. And people trust architecture. Brené Brown, whose work on vulnerability and leadership has changed organizational culture globally, said this. Authenticity is not something you have, it is something you practice in every conversation, every decision, every moment you choose truth over comfort. Every moment you choose truth over comfort. How many moments today, this week, have you made that choice? Ethics and integrity. We are now at the center of what makes a leader worth following. Not the most exciting center, not the most visible one, but the one without which everything else eventually collapses. Ethics, integrity, the bedrock beneath that voice. Integrity first. Let me define it precisely. Integrity does not mean perfection. The word comes from a Latin integer, meaning whole, complete, integrated. The leader of integrity is one whose word and action are built on the same material, who is the same person in shadow as in light. That wholeness, that alignment is what people feel. They trust a leader with their best work, their honest concerns, and their future. He decides the same way in the public and in private. The ethical test that every leader must apply before every significant decision is this. Would I be comfortable if every person affected by this decision could see exactly how I am making it? If the answer is no, stop. Reconsider. This discomfort is the information. He protects those who cannot protect themselves. Ethical leader is most visible and most tested in the moments when power could be exercised selfishly and isn't when he uses his influence on behalf of the team member who has no platform, the employee who is being treated unfairly, the voice that would otherwise go unheard. calls out what is wrong, even when it is costly. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity. The leader of integrity does not stay silent, even when speaking is the harder road, even when it costs him popularity or alliances or comfort. He speaks. He keeps his promise sculpturously. Every commitment he makes is treated as a sacred bond. When he cannot keep one because life happens, he addresses it directly, immediately, and without evasion. He does not pretend it wasn't said. He does not hope people forget. He faces it. Now, let us bring this specifically to how he communicates. Because integrity has a vocabulary. He never overpromises to impress. His words land conservatively. His actions exceeds them always. The gap between what he promised and what he delivered is a surplus, never a deficit. That surplus is the source of his authority. His attributes, he attributes credits generously. He mentions names. He says, Sarah had the original idea. Marcus made that possible. Priya built the framework that this is based on. Greatness acknowledged multiplies. Greatness hoarded shrinks and eventually suffocates. He distinguishes fact from opinion clearly. You will hear him say, my view is, or the data suggests. I may be wrong about this, but I believe. He never presents his interpretation as objective truth without flagging the distinction. That precision, that intellectual honesty is integrity made audible. He corrects himself without drama when he is wrong. And he will be wrong because he's human. He says it simply, cleanly, and without elaborate self-justification. I was wrong. Here is what I now believe. And then he moves forward with full confidence because acknowledging error is not weakness. It is the highest form of professional maturity. He does not use information as leverage. Information shared in confidence is never weaponized. He is a vault. People speak to him because they know, without needing to check, that what is given to him will be held with care. He does not use information as leverage. Information shared in confidence is never weaponized. He's vault. People speak to him because they know, without needing to check, that is what is given to him will be held with care. Three minutes. This one requires honesty, real honesty. The promise audit. List 3 commitments you have made in the past month. Are all 3 fulfilled? In progress? Or have you gone quiet about one of them, hoping it would dissolve? What do you need to address today? The public-private tests. Think of your most significant recent decision. Would you be fully comfortable if the people most affected by it knew exactly how you made it, what you weighed, what you dismissed, what you prioritized. If not, why not? What does that discomfort tells you? And the credit practice in your next presentation or team meeting, consciously name 3 people whose contribution made your work possible. Not once, every time. Make this commitment. The legacy he leaves. Module 6, legacy. We are now in the territory of what remains, not what he built, not what he achieved, not what he was given credit for. What remains when the voice falls silent? He plants trees under whose shade he will not sit. Legacy leaders think in decades. They make decisions not based on how they will look in the next quarter report, but on what conditions they are creating for the people who will come after them. They build institutions, they develop successors, they invest in futures they will not personally inhabit. He develops other leaders, not followers. This is the deepest measure of a leader's impact. Not how many people followed him, but how many people became leaders because of him. If his organization produces leaders who each produce more leaders, the multiplication never stops. That is the real legacy. And next, his values becomes the culture. After he leaves, weeks, months, years later, people still ask, what would he have done? Because he modeled his values so consistently, so clearly, so completely that they became embedded in the system itself. He is gone, but values remain. He solves for the next generation's problem. Selfish leaders solves the problem. They will be applauded for solving. Legacy leaders identify the problems whose solutions will be felt long after their names have been forgotten. They take a low view even when a short view is more comfortable. He teaches what he knows without holding back. The knowledge hoarded diminish over time. The generous leader grows. When a leader gives away everything he knows, his framework, his hard-won insight, his failure, and what he taught him, he creates knowledge ecosystem that will far outlast any single individual. Nelson Henderson put it with precision and grace. The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not sit to expect. You do not expect to sit. What trees are you planting? And are you planting them large enough for many to sit under, long after you have moved on? The lasting impression. Module 7, the final question. Not how did he perform, not what did he say, but what did he leave behind in the people who heard him? How does he mark the mind and the hearts of those who were in the room with him? People remember how you made them feel, Mega, Maya Angelou said it. Neuroscience confirms it. Emotional memory is the most durable form of memory we have. Long after the slides are gone, the handout is lost, the specific word has dissolved. The feelings remain. Great leaders leave people feeling more capable, more seen, more alive. This is the science of impression. His opening sentence changes the room. He does not begin with housekeeping. He does not begin with good morning. I am delighted to be here. He begins with intention. He begins with something that signals that time will matter. In the next 90 seconds, your brain will decide whether to trust the speaker. He knows this and he invests accordingly. He closes with a call that lingers. They are summons. He sends people out of the room with something to do, something to become, something to think about tonight. The best talk you have ever heard, the one that stayed with you, had an ending that didn't feel like an ending. It felt like a beginning. He's quotable on purpose. He crafts one sentence per talk, and that is designed to be carried out of the room. He knows that idea that travels in sentences, not in paragraphs. He refines until the sentence is so practiced, so resonate, so accurate that it lives in the listener independently. It becomes theirs. He models the state. He anchors others to inhabit. If he wants courage from his people, he speaks with courage. If he wants hope, he speaks with hope. If he wants stillness, he is still. The congruence between what he asks and what he embodies is the ultimate impression. He communicates. I am not telling what to be, I am showing you. And here is how you begin to build yours. The first 90 seconds, research is unambiguous. The audience decides within 90 seconds whether to invest in you, not whether you are clever, whether you are trustworthy, whether you are worth in their full attention. Your opinion is not a warm-up. It is the gate. Master it. The unforgettable image. Plant one vividly image or plant one vivid image early. A metaphor, a scene, a visual story. The brain stores images in a different part of the memory than it stores facts. Give your audience one image they cannot shake, and your message will live in them long after your words are gone. The name they walk away with. Give your central idea a name. No, not a description, a name. Named things are remembered. Unnamed ideas evaporate on the drive home. What is the name of what you are communicating today? A moment of a personal disclosure. One moment carefully chosen, honestly shared, not for sympathy, but for connection. When a leader reveals something real about their own journey, a doubt they overcame, a failure that taught some leaders, the room stops performing and starts listening. The closing ritual. Choose one consistent closing, a question you always ask, a silence you always hold, a sentence you always return to. Consistency becomes consistency becomes signature. Signature becomes identity. and identity is remembered. Three final questions. Write them in front of whatever notebook you keep. Your one quotable sentence, the single sentence from your leadership vision, the one you want people quoting 6 months from now. Write it, refine it until it is exact. Your emotional signature. How do people feel 10 minutes after the conversation with you? Write 3 feelings, words you intend. Then this week, ask a colleague if they match the reality. And your closing ritual, design it now. A question, a silence, a challenge, a phrase. Own it and use it every time. Closing, the 7 commitments. John Maxwell said, a leader, one who knows the way, goes the way, shows the way. When the leader we have studied today opens his mouth, all 3 are present simultaneously. He knows the way through clarity, self-mastery, and purpose. He goes the way through integrity, authenticity, and consistent ethical actions. He shows the way through charisma, story, impression, and legacy. I want to close with 7 commitments. These are not homework. These are not goals. These are declarations. And I invite you to speak them silently in your mind as I read them. 1, I will cultivate my unique leadership voice through solitude, through study, through honest self-examination. 2, I will pursue power that serves, and I will surrender power that only controls. Pause. 3, I will be fully present in every conversation, every meeting, every address I give. 4, I will speak only what I live and live what I speak. 5, I will let integrity govern every decision I make, whether I witness or unseen. 6, I will invest deliberately in the leaders who will come after me. 7, I will leave every room and every person more elevated than I found them. The world is waiting for your voice, not a polished version of someone else's, not a careful, calibrated, safe approximation of what a leader is supposed to be sound like. Your voice, the one that has experience in it, your values in it, your failure and your recoveries in it, your vision for your organization, your people, your nation in it. Speak with uniqueness, lead with power, inspire with charisma, be authentic, stand in integrity, leave a legacy, make your impression. Thank you. Let's connect again tomorrow. for another awakening, another conscious learning, and be the most unique and the most powerful you. Have a good day. Now we shall close the meeting.